from Food ATM in Ajman. She gives food to many laborers in one day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So thank you for taking out time today. You're very busy today. So can I ask the first question? Okay, so I'm going to.
Thank you also.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the first question is, can you please tell us about your work in detail?
Okay. Thank you so much for all these beautiful baby girls here. And I'm sure there is a larger audience. Your classmates are there. So it's an honor to be meeting all of you in the first place and answering your very, very lovely questions. It's a pleasure and an honor for me. I am Ayesha Khan, the founder of Food ATM. And what do? We provide food security to the lower incomes. Can you read that? Yeah, that's.
So, Food ATM, the food security for lower income communities. All food items range from 50 fils to 3 AED.
Excellent. So that is everything what Food ATM does. So you just read it out. Perfect. So what we are doing is we are trying to provide food security to all those people for whom, like us, food is very important, but they do not have the means to have luxurious, expensive food every day. Everybody talks about sustainability, but very few people walk the talk. Sustainability through food security is what we do. So we educate young children like you by showing the work that we do. What do? We provide food from 50 fils to 3 dirham because that's their budget. In 50 fils, what do we give? We give a chai, we give a big naan katai, we give a packet of popcorns, we give 4 pakoras, big, big pakoras. So in 50 fills also, their tummy gets filled. Now, is that not something really a surprise? It is. Why? Because we live in times where we have not heard of food available at 50 fills 1 dirham. And even the complete meal that we give is just 3 dirham, where children like you today might not be even able to buy a chocolate at 3 dirham. Isn't it? Your chocolates are more expensive now. Yes. So what Food ATM does is we cook a very large volume of meals every day. 24 hours we are cooking. Why? Because we have to give breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if the breakfast has to go out as early as 2 in the morning, the cooking must begin at somewhere 8 in the night. Otherwise, how will we feed so many thousands of workers? So, breakfast, lunch, dinner consistently is getting rolled out from all the food ATMs wherever we are based currently. So, we are in Ajman, Sharjah, and Ras Al Khaimah. That's what we do.
Okay. Thank you. Now, the second question is, what inspired you to start this work?
Inspiration is very simple, and that's called hunger. We all face that 2 3 times a day, don't we? You feel hungry 2 3 times a day? I also feel. So, when we feel hungry, what do? We eat. And we are so blessed that we are able to get food every time we are hungry. We don't starve. We don't wait when the next meal will come, from where it will come. So, hunger is the inspiration. When we feel hungry, we have food, we are blessed that we have food to eat, and we can even eat whatever we like. But there are so many people around us in our societies who might not even have food when they are hungry because they're like us, they never got education. They could never have a career, they could never have a big job. Because of that, they could never have big money. Today, cost of living, the cost of food is so much that a lower income person actually has a challenge to eat 3 times a day. It's a luxury for them. So, hunger is the inspiration. I have lived hunger myself. And so, when I had struggled many years of my life, when I was a student, I was doing my engineering and I did not have enough money to either buy food or buy books, was my life. I decided that when I become something in life, I will give food. That is what I'm doing. I'm giving food to all those who need food and do not have so much money. So I have made it so affordable that with little money, with a small pocket also, they can feed themselves 3 times every day. 4 years completed. This is the 5th year. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. So, now I'm going to ask the next question. Who are the people who supported you during this journey?
To begin with, nobody. See, I'll tell you. Dear little children, we have kind of made a tradition or a norm that when do you feed the lesser privilege? In Ramadan. What do you feed the lesser privilege or lower income? Iftar. Why? If I give one iftar in a year, will that person not feel hungry till next Ramadan? No. Like me, they will feel hungry a few times every day. So, when I said this to my family, to my friends, to people who could have supported me in the project, they all said I'm out of my mind. There is no such project. What are you talking about? No such work is there. So I said, no, this is actually a work when I can eat 365 days, I can eat few times a day, I can feed few times a day. They said, no, you're out of your mind. There's no such work. This is all Ramadan. You do all this work in Ramadan. I could not convince myself. I could not believe that I can only eat in Ramadan and then not feel hungry till next Ramadan. So I decided to set out all by myself. There was nobody to help me. And then, because I was alone, where does the money come from? I sold everything that I had. Whatever I had made from my big salary in Dubai, I sold all the properties like any good Indian. We Indians, what do? We buy villas and properties in India with all the money that we make in Dubai. I did that. Then, when I had to start a project, I went to India, I sold everything, brought money back, and set up Food ATM. So that's the beginning. After that, also many people could not understand what I'm doing. When we completed 2 years, we got a Guinness World Record. Another 1 year, and we became part of United Nations Global Compact. I became one of the directors on the board of directors of United Nations Global Compact UAE chapter. Then people started understanding that she's talking sense. Now there are many people with us, although nobody helps financially, but everybody comes and buys food, makes us part of their events, for their organizations, initiatives related to UN SDGs, food security. We are always invited. So we have a say in small initiatives now.
Thank you. So now I'm going to ask you the next question. How do you make sure this business is sustainable?
Sustainability is a big word, and currently we are in the year of sustainability. Our honorable president has announced this year of sustainability. So I request you, our future generation, people of my generation, and everybody in general, to please not just talk about sustainability, do something about sustainability and set examples for our country here and for the world to get inspired and follow. Sustainability in business was very important. In my case, it was survival. Because if we would not have survived, how would we have continued feeding these people? So, to sustain a business or actually survive a business and make it see the fifth year, like now we are in the fifth year, was a huge challenge for us. With cost being there, frozen, we have 50 fils to 3 dirham. This is the fifth year, no change in the cost. With the cost which is frozen and cost inflations happening almost every quarter, it was almost impossible to continue the business itself. So, what was our best bet was change the menus. We provide, as I just told you, we provide breakfast, lunch, dinner, 3 meals every day. So, there is a menu. Every day there are 3 different types of breakfast, 3 different types of lunch, 3 different types of dinner. Not very large, but this is what we have. And in these things also we could not sustain. We used to offer muttons and broccolis and mixed vegetables, many things in the in the inception stages like 2019 when we started the business. But then, as the pandemic set in, many things started disappearing from the market. Even when they came back to the market, we could not afford, with thousands of tummies to be filled every day. From where I will buy mutton? With such a huge cost, how I will price the food at 3 dirham? It was not possible. So we started buying whatever was affordable from the market. Then we started concentrating on near expiry food products because market knew that they cannot sell such large volumes. We knew that we can take such large volumes. For example, oil, rice, spices, vegetables, also the delicate things which go bad very soon. We were the only buyers because when they knew that they cannot sell it, they knew that they are not pretty vegetables, no longer pretty to be kept on the shelf, many things. They had us to buy and we had them to bank on. That is how the win-win began. So the near expiry food raw materials and non-pretty things, we started lifting them in tons, because when cooking is in thousands, product influx has to be in tons. So we started getting into the market, buying very large quantities. There we started getting a margin, and because they were near expiry, it was lesser in cost. We could survive. We changed the menus every month. The menus are changed because we cannot afford. This is the truth. To fill the tummies, when that's the objective, to fill the tummies, we have to give healthy and tasty food. None of the labor has ever come and told me, where are muttons now, where are broccolis? No, nobody says that. They all come here and bless us that we are filling their tummies. They all bless us कि Allah तुझे और दे. May Allah give you more. May Allah bless you with more. Nobody ever complains because their tummies are filled in small cost. They are happy. This is how we have sustained by changing the menus, buying whatever affordable, also saving the country from food wastage. When tons of food was getting wasted, we started playing a role there. We started going and procuring food before it could go bad. And we used to transform it into meals and we used to dish it out. That's why we got featured in United Nations Environment Program, where food before going bad was saved by us and we are addressing a social cause, our social impact of feeding lesser privileged, lower income people. Dear, what's your name? Thank you so much for this question, dear little Jad. The difficulties that we face are, let me give you an example. When your mom is cooking at home, assuming that you are 5 people in a family, if mom is cooking at home for 5 people, how many challenges she will face? Sometimes the oil gets burnt or the food gets burnt itself. Maybe the water proportion is more. The food is not cooked on time. Sometimes it's half cooked. Sometimes it gets spicy. Sometimes it gets oily. Sometimes it's tasty and you guys will like it. Sometimes you'll say this is not good. These are a very typical challenges for any cooking. So we are exactly the same. The only difference is we are cooking in very large quantities. So such challenges are bound to be there. Sometimes there is a gas issue, water issue, cooking issue, rice issue, spice issue. As I told you, many things just disappear from the market. And even if they are there in the market, sometimes we are not able to buy. Very basic things like onions and tomatoes and potatoes sometimes, because of the cost inflations and maybe the turbulence in the nearby countries from wherever we are importing, they don't even reach UAE. There are times when we had to cook without onions, which is the basic for any cooking. These are the challenges which we face. We have cold storages where we have to store our tons of products. Sometimes the cold storage will go through a turbulence. There is a power issue. Where do I shift tons of food immediately? So there are so many challenges. This is a very small list. Every day we come prepared that we will today upgrade ourselves with a new list of challenges and new games that we'll have to play and new creativity that we'll have to show because we don't have a choice. We are subject to it without a choice. So it's like, going for an examination every day. Surprise question paper. Even syllabus is not known.
And that you are doing it at extremely large scale.
Extremely large. Yeah. That too now doing in multiple cities, Emirates. So it's fun time. So we are juggling and we are all sorts of things we are doing. Somehow running the show, filling the tummies.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask a few more questions. Okay. So if you collect feedback from neighbors, what feedback do you get?
It's a very interesting question. Feedback from the labors. So, in general, when people know about us and they know that they are dealing with food, so when it comes to feedback, they will all assume that we are taking a feedback about how was the food, was it tasty, would you like to see more of brinjal? Nobody likes brinjal, so we would try to ask such questions, but that is only 1% of the feedback that we ask. It's not because we are not interested to know whether our food is good. It's because we are not just filling the tummies, we are creating a social impact. Because of this project today, children in more than 200 countries are studying, sisters are getting married, houses are being built, parents are getting medication, so many things happening. So the feedback is much beyond the flavors, much beyond the recipes, and much beyond their taste buds. And also there are people who are not even interested to talk about the food. They would just run and come to us when they see us at their premise to say, Didi, see, I bought a new school bag for my son. And they will come, see, my daughter got us bicycle. Hamare gaon mein, in our village, only girl who drives bicycle is my daughter. See, they'll show the photo. There will be someone who rushes to show us their leaking roof has been now plastered. Children don't sleep in the wet beds. So these are the feedbacks. Surprisingly, much beyond food. I was telling my boys, my team members, when we started that beta, very few people get a chance to play a role in others' lives. अपने लिए तो सब जी लेते हैं. We all live for ourselves. Very few people live for others. So we are blessed that we are able to do that. And this is how we take a feedback. Many a times we don't even have to ask for a feedback. They come running to tell us the feedback. So these are the feedbacks, dear. Beyond food, we play a role in their lives. Yes, yes, yes. My dear children, you are our future. If you walk this path, then we have done our job. So, what we want from all of you, that I have requested many schools and universities. Now we are officially associated with them. We have signed MOUs with schools and universities where all the children they buy one meal from Food ATM in a month. So it's an investment of 3 dirham per month and 30 minutes of your time towards the end of the month, where we will take you out to any of the labor camps depending on the number of meals purchased in that month, and you will distribute with your own hands. When you distribute food every month, once in a month, you will feel the change. You will feel the change in yourself because you will receive the joy of giving food, and you will also see how blessed you are. I ask this question to my children, that if you hear that at a masjid or at some place there is food being distributed, will you go and stand in a long queue like this under the sun? No, you won't. I'll not go and stand. Why? Because we are blessed. God has given us so much food to eat. In fact, we are sometimes wasting that food. But look at these people. They all come running from their labor rooms, their construction sites, even from bathrooms, they'll come running. Why? Because they don't want to miss this meal that is so precious. If they get one free meal, that money is saved, that they can eat the next meal. Do you understand, my dear children? We all can play a role, and we must play a role. Give because you can give. Today you are blessed, you are able to give, so you must give. Okay? And celebrate all your birthdays with us. Come to Food ATM, buy food, give it to people, and receive blessings. What else do you need on a birthday? You need blessings for the upcoming new year. When you clear your exams with good marks, come and celebrate by giving. Make your parents also do the same. When they receive any success in their office, for their marriage anniversaries, your birthdays, their birthdays, come to Food ATM. In 10 dirham, you can feed 3 people. Come and celebrate. Celebrate the giving. Receive the joy of giving. Okay? Give me the name of your school and I'll associate. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more question. So, what type of food do you supply? Yeah, what type of food do you supply?
The food that we make is very moderate because we can't have too much of spice, we cannot have too much of grease, which is oil. We cannot have it, Indianized or Pakistani or Bangladeshi, because all nationalities are eating. So our food is very, very moderate. It is tasty, it is healthy, it is hot because there is no time to keep the food. We cook, pack, run. Cook, pack, run is what we call, because then where do we keep? When do we keep? Because thousands are already lined up. So our food is very fresh, very healthy, nutritious, with whatever we can afford. So the food that we give is, in the mornings we give rotis and parathas with some curries, which are generally cereals, mixed vegetables. With every meal we will give one gift free. So in the mornings it's generally one fruit, and with every meal there is a bottle of water being given, which is half a liter water, because these laborers, they will find it difficult to get water wherever they are. Many a times they're on on-site projects where the water gets heated up, and that's why when our deliveries go, the bottles have cold water. So hot food and cold water, we play a role there. Try to give them water, and we believe with every drop of water that quenches a thirst, millions of blessings shower back on us. And we have lived these facts where we have fed people with hot food, whatever we are able to afford, and cold water, and then the reply comes almost on the same day with millions of blessings coming. All their smiles are also blessings for us. So our food is morning chapati paratha, lunch and dinner is generally rice. But for those laborers who cannot eat rice, we will give them chapatis also in lunch and dinner. They come and inform us. It's already informed. So we have B2B and B2C, where companies come and pick food for their laborers, and B2C, where thousands of laborers themselves come and pick food for themselves. When they come, they will tell us their choice, and we will give that food. Anyways, the cost remains the same, 3 dirham. Yeah.
So okay, thank you. Now I'm going to ask the next question. Do you supply on weekends, and how do you make sure on weekends it goes to the laborers?
At Food ATM, there's no weekends, dear. We work 365 days every year, and weekends are like regular days for us because hunger does not stop. Hunger strikes every day. Hunger does not know weekend, national holidays, festivals, Eid, and even Ramadan. So, since hunger does not know and does not have a calendar, does not have a schedule, we also do not have a schedule of any holidays. We all take holidays, but in different set, and we ensure that work is not affected. Weekends are regular days for us. There is no change. Sometimes we forget which is the day today, and we ask each other, "Kaun sa din hai aaj?" Which is the day today, because we forget which day it's today. So yeah, weekends are the same. We have regular deliveries, regular cooking, packing, running, same things.
Okay, now I'm going to ask a very nice and interesting question, but thank you. How do you make profit by selling foods and crops lesser than the market value?
This is definitely the favorite question of all the journalists, and I was waiting for this question to come. I'm very grateful to you that you asked me very interesting questions before the commercial question. So that's very nice of you. The question what arises in people's minds is why this cost and how this cost. So 90% of the people would only ask how come you are able to manage in this small cost. I request all of them to add the why also, because why are you trying to give food at this cost? If they understand the why part, the how will work out, because the people who are buying food from us, they are not able to afford anything bigger than this. If they could afford, they would not have come to us. And if they could afford food which is very expensive, they would have actually opted for that. That's human tendency. You know, even my children, they'll go for pizzas and fried chickens and all, given a chance. They will not eat dal chawal. So that's a human tendency. So coming back to the cost, we very early, this is also a fact of the social enterprises across the world. Social enterprises are always mapped to personal experiences. So anyone across the world who's running any social enterprise would have had a personal experience why the project has sustained. So people who have lived the social cause would have been the people who are heading the cause now and heading the social enterprise now. So in my case, I have lived hunger. As I was saying, we lost the family support as very young. I was 17, my brother was only 10 years, where we were studying and then we had to choose whether to buy books or to buy food. In those days, where we lived that for years, we understood that food is a very basic human need and human right. So at this time, where we understood that when hunger strikes, we have to eat something. And in those days, when we had to either buy books or food, it was only affordable food that we could buy. We did not have the luxury to buy anything expensive. Even my children know I used to have milk coffee as a young girl. I used to love coffee, and those days of my life, from 17 onwards, full stop at milk coffee. Even today, I drink black coffee. I got used to, because those days taught me that milk is not affordable. So I started drinking black coffee. Even today, I'm drinking black coffee. Now I cannot digest milk coffee because I left it very young. I was very fond of milk coffee. So, like that, life introduced me to hunger, and life introduced me to a very, very simple fact which world could not and still cannot understand is food has to be affordable. At least let's not have a huge profit margin set in when it comes to food, because one time a person can wear the same dress for 2 days, but a person cannot be hungry for 2 days consistently. He has to eat once in 2 days at least. So, yes, when it comes to food, I'm very careful about the pricing. Alhamdulillah, 4 years completed. This is the fifth year. The cost of the food has not changed. It's a very conscious decision of maintaining it there, because nothing has changed for the lower income workers either. They are not qualified, they are not educated, they don't have any special skills that their salaries can be revised, but the cost of living is increasing every single day, or maybe at least quarterly. So have we ever thought, with the rising cost and the stagnant salaries, how are they living? A large segment of the society has not thought, and that's why they ask me this question, how. I request them to ask why. Ask me why I'm doing this, how I'm doing this. You come and see. When I'm not able to afford, I give dal chawal, dal tadka. They happily eat. At least there is food, hot food reaching their tummies. So, like that, by manipulating the menus and giving whatever affordable from the market we are able to buy, is how we are sustaining this project. Tummy filling is the objective, food security is the objective, not a exotic decorated menu which we can't afford and they can't afford. No. We have a profit. We are at 18% profit margin with all the bank statements submitted to the authorities who need to know how and what we are doing. We are at 18% profit margin. We learned it very early. If we don't survive, maybe they don't have any other doors to knock. As yet, it's only food ATM. Thank you.
So that was a nice answer. So now I'm gonna ask one more question about you. What are the top 3 challenges you face?
There are challenges. I can write a book on challenges. So many challenges. Top three. Okay, let me be choosy now. The top three challenges is definitely the cost inflation of food raw materials. I would request the society at large, the food industry, to spare the basics at least. Spare them. The exotic foods, please, you can go ahead, do increase in the cost. There will be an audience to buy. There will always be an audience to buy the exotic foods, expensive foods. Please spare the basics. So the challenges we face is when it comes to the basic raw materials like rice, oil, salt, dal, the cereals, spare them. Spare some vegetables, please. Spare some kinds of fish, water. Spare them. Don't increase the cost there. Cost inflation has not left anything untouched. Please leave something untouched for those who are also like you, humans like you. They live with you, amongst you, and somehow we don't see them. So, cost inflation is a huge challenge when it comes to food raw materials. And the other challenge is related to logistics. There are a lot of challenges we face when it comes to logistics. Fuel cost, if can be kept under control, everything will be under control. When it comes to us, logistics became a precious commodity and we had to stop deliveries. Now we are requesting people to come and take it because although we have vehicles of no use, now we are not able to afford the fuel cost. So if fuel was affordable, then everything automatically would have been reduced. So fuel is a huge challenge. And the third and the most important challenge is humans should consider others as humans, which is still a lack, a gap in our society. We do understand that people are our gardeners and drivers and cleaners, but we don't understand that they also have hunger issues. They also have children, they also have families whom they need to support. So if we can't increase their salaries, okay, at least give them food. All of us can give one meal a day wherever you are. Not everybody can reach food ATM. Yeah, if you come to food ATM, you'll be getting much more than you expect when it comes to buying meals. But if you are wherever you are and want to do something good, who's stopping you? Nobody is. So we are all humans. We need to understand that others are also, they also have children like us. They also have challenges like us. They also feel hungry a few times a day. So just walk up to any labor and gift him. Give them a bottle of water, give them a juice, give them a sandwich, which you might otherwise throw it. You accumulate so much in your homes and you sometimes forget that things are piled up in the cupboard, and towards the end of the month you realize, oh, these have gone bad, expiry dates have met, throw it. Let's not do that. Let's regularly open the cupboards and go and give it off if you're not going to use it. Let's consider humanity above everything else. Let's do it. Let's try. It works.
Thank you. Is there any message you would like to provide us to share with others to bring awareness?
The message is very strong and very direct to all our children. My dear children, you are our future. Our current generation and our future needs to be more on humanity and a bit less on technology, if that's possible. Because the way the world is proceeding currently, we are so much technical, we are so much into technology that we have even stopped looking beyond our desk. I just had a teacher who visited us. She is an Emirati national from one of the Arabic national schools in the country. She came here to complain to me that why we did not visit her school. She said the children in her school are now using the tabs and they don't even get up to have lunch because lunch is served on table, water is served on table, and they will not even get up to switch off the lights when the projectors are on. So that is what we are becoming. We are becoming lazy We are not even getting up from our chairs, leaving our desk, because all the time we are with technology. And if that's the case, we don't look beyond our desk, then how will we know what is happening in the world? We might never see if there's somebody hungry on the road. We might not even know if there is somebody lesser privileged than us. So, what we need to do, the message is very clear: give Food ATM 30 minutes of your time in a month. I force people to buy one meal, 3 dirham in a month. That's my way of bringing them out of their technology shells and making them a bit more human. So, my request is, let's all prioritize humanity at least once in a month, do a small social impact work. And if we all do it, the future generations will do it automatically. And there is a saying, it's my own saying, that however you become doctors, engineers, architects, and IT professionals, there's no guarantee that you'll be successful. But if you become a good human being, it's assured that you will become successful in your lives. I give an example of Food ATM, a project which might not have even survived a tomorrow. We were not sure in 2019 if we will see a tomorrow, but the same project got a Guinness World Record. It became part of United Nations. I became on the board of directors of United Nations. This is all nothing but blessings. Blessings from Almighty and blessings from all those tummies which were filled many times in all these years. So I request all of you to please come to Food ATM. Let's all try to become the humans. Later we'll become better humans. At the moment we are not even humans, because we are only technological gadgets at the moment. So all you children, this is including my children, they're also into technology. Come to Food ATM. Let's make a small change, a small difference in many lives. Okay? Once in a month. This is a promise required from you and your team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, should I ask the next question?
Yes, yes, don't
Okay,
worry.
okay. Okay. How do you bring awareness to your company and the issue?
Awareness to my company.
Yeah. How do you like make sure people buy from this?
There are many forums where people have laughed their hearts out, saying that Aisha does not have a one dirham marketing budget, but the whole world knows her, and Food ATM. So that's our simple fact. We don't have a marketing budget, because whatever money we have, we buy food and we put it into our rolling of providing more food to more needy people. So, having said that, we actually don't have a marketing budget. Maximum what we do is print these flyers once in a year, and how we generate awareness is by participating in forums. We associate with organizations which are generally medium and large size, where we touch many hearts. We go and talk our hearts out, because we don't have even presentations to show, where we want to bring people to doing what we are doing. So we show them what we do in on forums like in LinkedIn, on forums like Instagram. We show people what we do on a day to day basis. So we don't have a marketing budget, we don't do any advertisements, but we invite people. We are part of many forums, educational sectors, especially corporate organizations, and all of them join us for doing social impact activities, maybe once in a month, once in a quarter. Like that, the word of mouth spreads, and that's only medium. Otherwise, we don't have any advertisement of our own.
Thank you for that. Now, I'm going to ask the next question. How do you distribute food to the laborers?
We used to distribute food. We had very few vehicles. We have 4 trucks, and they used to be mapped on routes. So, a truck, if he's going from Ajman to a borderline of Dubai, it will go dropping meals all the way from Ajman to few places in Sharjah to Dubai, Gises, and then come back. Because that is what we could afford. We did not have many vehicles. So one vehicle will set out in advance, do all the dropping and come back. Then again fill the next meal, again go do the dropping and come back. That was still going fine until after pandemic, and after a bit of reviving, the fuel prices became so high that now we can't even afford to do what we were doing. So we have stopped distributing. Instead, we have requested all the corporate organizations who work with us to please send their trucks, pick up their meals, and when they calculate the investment of time and the fuel cost and the vehicle and driver cost with the 3 dirham meal, and the meal which gives them not only the meal but a water and a gift free, they find it cheaper than buying it somewhere from anywhere in their vicinity. So that works fine for us now, and we don't distribute. People come and collect it and take it with them. So that's the fact.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to ask the next question. So, do you only buy fruits and vegetables, or do you also grow them in your own farms?
वेयर हाउस में रखवा दे. हाँ मैं अभी आ रही हूँ, उनको मीठा पानी दे, जूस दे. ए डोंट वरी, चलता है, तो चलते रहे. विच 4 AM ऑल्सो यही सिचुएशन है, बेचारी कब आएगी. ओके, डोंट वरी. सो So, dear children, coming back to sustainability, where we buy, for example, tomatoes. Tomatoes we'll be buying around 15 tons. Now, when it comes to 15 kgs of tomatoes, mummy might be knowing, everybody in their homes know that if you keep 15 kgs of tomato, also it's a delicate vegetable. It will go bad. The skin will get ruptured, some parts will be damaged, and it's very difficult to maintain these vegetables. In our case, the challenge is not maintaining because we'll not maintain. The moment the downloads happen, they are all mashed and cooked and packed and delivered. So that was not the challenge. The challenge was something else. When we are buying in such large bulks, we are also buying from people who want to dispose of the large bulks. So most of them, as I told you many a times, they're non-pretty. So they're already sometimes bruised. Not everything is bruised, but some quantities are bruised. Bruised part, okay, we can cut off, take it off, and then use the good part. That way, we end up in some losses, but we have to live with it then because the cost is less. In a download of 15 tons of tomatoes, there will be a few kgs of tomatoes which are completely damaged. And I can't go and fight with the vendors, why you gave me 10 kgs of damaged tomatoes. No, I have to live with it. I have to live the loss also. So this started, building on me, especially that a conscious prick where so much of wastage we were doing now. As food ATM, we started wasting so much because we did not have a choice. When we had to buy the non-pretty thing also, we had to go for inexpensive also, and then we will receive damaged things and we have to throw it also. So the garbage bins used to be piled up because of food ATM. We experimented it in Ajman in some small pieces of land where how the decayed vegetables could be regrown into plants, especially the onions, tomatoes, ginger, garlic, green chili, sometimes cucumber, pumpkins. So these were our big buys, and it worked. We were so surprised that it started working, and we being me especially being from the IT background, none of my boys from the farming background, we did not have a choice or a luxury of buying fertilizers and gadgets or chemical products to boost the growth. So what we started doing, we started using the fish market's wastage, the livestock market wastage to put into the soil to enrich the soil. And this is like going back to our knowledge from our countries, because we never had a big luxury of a farm and all. So we used to use all these dungs and wastages in the soil. We have seen our mothers and grandmothers put into the soil, and they used to say, "Yeah, अच्छा होता है if you put in the soil becomes more fertile." So using all that, we did it in the UAE soil, and it worked. So when it worked, we leased a place in Ras Al Khaimah, some farms in Ras Al Khaimah, not very big, close to 2 acres, and then slowly we bought bigger places where we started using our own wastages. The tomatoes, onions, garlic, ginger, pumpkins, all the wastage will go and put into the soil, and by the blessings of nature, they used to be rewarded. We started getting plants like this big tomato plant, not very big, gives us around 50 to 60 tomatoes. And we were shocked by how nature is responding. So that became a learning for us and all the at least educational sector and corporate sector where we associated. We started telling people, see what we do to nature. We give it wastage and see what nature gives us. It blesses us with so much of produce, and even that produce we are using in our kitchens. It is not, we are not at self sufficiency. I'm not saying that I need tons and I'm getting tons from my farm. No, I'm not getting tons, but I'm getting 300 400 kgs every week, which is not bad. If I get 400 kg of tomato or 350 kg of onions, it's going to be used. That brings down our cost of our cooking. So somehow we are managing with all the blessings from nature. So children, you can do this in your homes. You can put the tomato seeds in a flower pot and see if it responds. It will. It will respond. It will give you some tomatoes. And imagine you pluck your own tomatoes and make a salad. How precious that salad would be. And you'll not waste it. You'll eat it fully. Isn't it? Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for bringing out your time and your busy schedule today. We really liked your questions. We really liked your answers to our questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
And we also have this food. We also have this food.
Thank you, done. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.